It's now the start of June, and as dawn breaks, one of the older chicks clambers to the entrance. And another joins it to take in the sunrise. They scuffle in the entrance. It looks like this one might be ready. It looks around, working out which way to go. And within moments, it takes its very first flight. At just over a month old, the first chick has fledged the nest. The first kestrel chick fledged this morning, so I'm going to try and catch up with it and see how it's doing. It's common to find fledglings close to the nest, so I'm hoping to spot it perched on one of these sycamore branches. But this fledgling hasn't had a perfect landing. I was expecting to find this kestrel chick up in the trees, but it's just down there in the wet grass, so this one might need a helping hand. So this one's feathers are wet through. It's not going to fly in this condition, but it feels a really good weight. So these feathers are going to dry out really quickly once it's out of the wet grass, and then it'll be able to fly again. I'm going to pop it up on a branch right next to the nest, and hopefully it'll settle there. The chick seems happy perched on the branch. I'm keen to see what it does next, so I'll get into position with my camera. Its feathers dry out quickly, and it's on the move. I watch as it works its way up the tree, finally reaching a perch that it's happy with. It's just fabulous to see our first chick out in the wild. Once fledged, the chicks will hang out near the nest and be provided for by Mr. Kez. There's 2 days between the eldest and youngest, so they won't all fledge at once. It could be a while before they're all out and about. So in the morning, I'm watching closely to see who will be the next to go. Now the first chick has fledged, the others want to take flight too. Inside, they practice their flapping technique, getting ready for that all-important first flight. They're hopping around the nest, testing their talents. They're on the road to independence now. Within a month, they'll have to fend for themselves. All this activity is tiring work, but I'm sure they'll be raring to go tomorrow. But in the morning, they're sleeping in, and they barely stir as Mr. Kez arrives with breakfast. But they're soon full of energy again. Just after 9 AM, one of the young kestrels comes to the entrance. Has a good scratch. And besides, it's time to fledge too. The branch outside seems the perfect distance for a first flight. And once it's found its balance, it flies up into the trees. It's a successful fledge. Back at the nest, the other chicks are itching to take off. In the entrance, they're looking longingly. And inside, they're climbing the walls. In the late afternoon, a chick ventures to the edge. And the others call excitedly. Egged on by its siblings, the third kestrel takes to the wing. Not the most elegant landing, it still has a lot to learn. But this one makes it into the trees on its own. And as the day comes to an end, there's only 3 chicks left. So these are the 3 youngest chicks that I had in with me, so it's no surprise these are the last ones to go. I can't wait for tomorrow to see how they get on. The next day, one of the chicks wastes no time heading outside. It spends the morning preening and flapping. And just after midday, we have our 4th fledging. My first rescue chick has taken flight, and now only the smallest 2 are left to go. Mr. Kez is trying to tempt the final chicks from the nest, and hasn't delivered food for 2 days now. But these 2 don't seem quite ready to go. Meanwhile, the fledglings aren't far, roosting in the trees. And the following afternoon, the chicks get a visit from one of them. The fledgling has a brief look inside, before being knocked from the entrance. Just in time to grab some food from Mr. Kez, who's feeding nearby. This visit seems to have motivated one of the chicks. Only an hour later, the 5th kestrel takes flight. Now, only the youngest remains. But it's not alone for long. One of the fledglings drops in to spend the night. The youngest chick seems pleasantly surprised by the visitor. And the two soon settle in together. The youngest chick hasn't been fed for a couple of days. I'm just going to head down and give it a bit of extra food. This youngest chick is the one that nearly died, and it's looking a bit thin. So over the next couple of days, I'll feed it back up to strength. It's much more energetic now, head bobbing, stretching, and even flapping its wings. And the following day, a week after the first chick fledged, it's finally time. Just after dawn, the last chick takes to the skies. This has been a truly unique story. I followed this kestrel family all year, witnessing every moment as the pair chose their nest, laid a clutch of eggs, and welcomed 6 healthy chicks. Tragedy struck when Mrs. Kes disappeared, and 3 chicks were taken into my care. Sadly, Mrs. Kes never returned, but Mr. Kes stepped up, defying all the textbooks as he learned to feed his family, and eventually they could be reunited. Mr. Kes has worked so hard to care for his chicks, with a bit of help from me. Despite a challenging start, all 6 chicks have fledged. What a success story. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to see more. Here's a taste of what you'll enjoy seeing on this channel.